bigger ticket item, I think.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
For the here and now.
Oh, this is, to me, one of my favorites of this whole process.
Yeah.
Because I've been telling everybody that this guy is here for the last 6 years.
This is a victory lap.
It's a victory lap. I'm going to pat myself on the back and tell myself I'm awesome. Hey, Chris Simms, you're awesome. All right? Yeah, that's right. Matthew Stafford time at number 6. All right, and
I thought he'd be higher.
I thought about making him top 5. I did.
Yeah.
And, we'll talk about number 5 after this, and I'll tell you, it was a little closer than you think, actually. I think people will be surprised.
Yeah.
Stafford, I mean, here's the Stafford, Super Bowl champion Matthew Stafford, the guy who's always been a Super Bowl quarterback that finally got a team that matched up with his Super Bowl capabilities. And guess what he did in year 1? That's right. He won a freaking Super Bowl. With all the new learning an offense, moving parts, players hurt, blah, 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 didn't matter. Did he go through a rough patch? Certainly. And we'll hit on that. But damn, still one of the greatest arms in the game, period. I mean, one of the greatest. And if you wonder why Cooper Kupp had a career year, just look at Matthew Stafford. That's all you need to know. Why? Well, Stafford allowed that offense to do things that they've never done before with other quarterbacks. It allowed them to call plays they've never called before. Cooper Kupp probably caught 20, 30 balls where he goes, well, the last quarterback I had wouldn't even thrown that ball in there, but this fucking guy threw it and stuck it in my face mask. I mean, so that's why. If you want to know why Cooper Kupp had a career year, it's because of the quarterback. And then McVay and him being able to unleash his total playbook because of Matthew Stafford. Incredible arm. I mean, he's amazing in the quick game, short passes. You talk about getting it out quick, getting it out with crazy sidearm deliveries. His sidearm deliveries and all that are up there with Mahomes and Mahomes and Josh Allen, who to me are the best of the sport at doing that stuff. Incredible accuracy on high-level throws. That's the thing that jumps off when you go watch back. You just go, on the money 40-yard post, on the money back foot sidearm 30-yard in cut.
How about the one in Tampa that won the game for him?
Right, off your back foot, 50 yards down the field, people in your face.
So he just got back to the back of his drop. He didn't really even step up. He was fading back.
Yes.
And just flicked it.
Phenomenal. Right.
Yeah.
To me, it's a very special talent he has. A special one to where I'd go, the two guys that we just talked about before this, Brady, Russell Wilson, they can't do that like he can. They can't. They can't throw sidearm and still throw it 40 yards down the field, or no-look sidearm, or like you said, fall back and just flick a ball 55 yards. That's where he's really special. He's tough as hell.
Yeah.
Gosh, he will stand in the pocket. That's the one thing when you go back and watch, you go, holy crap, he got hit a lot last year. Holy crap, he was under pressure more than I thought watching back the year, and he still makes a ton of big throws. He is not affected by it. Go back and watch the Super Bowl. He's getting fucking lambasted with, guys hurt, and he's still in there throwing the ball in the tight windows down the middle of the field. And you talked about it after the game, how great he played with the pocket collapsing and how many tight throws.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, his ability to handle mental and physical pressure, I think, is top notch.
Yeah.
I do. And he had a lot on him this year.
Yeah, keep in mind, in the Super Bowl, I mean, he had those 2 interceptions. I mean, there was halftime in between. But we talked about this right after. He had like over an hour of real time where all he did was throw picks and sit and wait and wonder what was coming next because of the halftime.
Yes.
And he came back and played
awesome.
really well. And I think of that word response with him. So he responded in the Super Bowl. Remember at the end of the season, I mean, the last 4 games, he had 8 picks. I mean, it was like everything
was my question. We were going, the Rams are really good. I just questioned the quarterback.
About 2 or 3 weeks into it, you had to say, okay, is Stafford going to hold him back in January?
Yeah.
That's how it looks now at the end of December. And then I think he was 70% in the playoffs.
Yep.
The team was around 50% third down, which is phenomenal that time of year.
No doubt.
His rating was higher than it was at any point of his career.
Right.
He was nothing short of fantastic when it mattered most.
No doubt. He was the question going down the stretch. I mean, again.
Right.
I mean, you as much as he was still making plays and doing things, you got to go back to the time and go, wait, that Seahawks game, the Vikings game, the Ravens game down the stretch.
Yeah.
They won all 3 of those, but you got to remember, he made some really stupid gunslinger, reckless plays that made those games a lot closer than they should have been. And that's the big thing. The 49ers game at the end of the year, I think, is where it started to go, wait, I don't need to always have to make magic here.
Yeah.
And he played good in that game. He led them on a late clutch drive to tie the game, even though they ended up losing. But I think that was the jump-off spot.
Yeah.
And I think a little bit like we saw with Brady the year before, hey, it's a new team. It's a new system. It takes about probably till December where you start to feel comfortable and like it's riding a bike and all of that.
Right.
So, hey, that's the one thing that why he's 6 is, hey, he's not always in the trust trade. There's still a little bit of that gunslinger in him. And I think a little bit of that, it can be coached out of him. And I think we saw that, to your point, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And because I think one of those things too, like we talk about Brady in the New England way, right? Well, here's a guy that was kind of in the opposite. If he wasn't a gunslinger and didn't make some shit happen in Detroit, they never had a chance to win the game.
Right.
So he was used to playing that loose style of football.
We talked about that before he went there.
Exactly. Like he's used to, if I don't play by the edge, we don't win in Detroit.
Right.
And that's where I think as the season went on, he finally learned, like, hey, I don't need to try to throw the ball as they're spinning me around in my own end zone, trying to throw it out of the end zone and throw a pick 6 to the Titans.
Right.
Or jam a 6-yard completion on the sidelines here and just throw it as hard as I can because I think I can fit it in. You don't need to do that when you're on the Rams and that team. So I think he learned that, but that's still probably the thing you look at to go, hey, we can't just drop back and the coach called the post route and just say, I'm going to can throw it because I want to throw a post route. That's, I think, why he's 6 and maybe not higher.
I thought one of the cool, nerdy quarterback things about what Matthew Stafford did in the Super Bowl was that we think about the fact that he was reckless, that he was crazy talented, and all the cool throws he could make.
Yeah.
It was decision-making and patience and accuracy
and precision
most
throws.
of the time. Most of the time. Like,
it was.
He threw that great touchdown early to OBJ, but that was the first pass I think he threw over 10 or 12 yards.
Yeah, right.
And then he came back to, I don't want to say Dinkin and Duncan because it wasn't just taking these way out.
It was a lot of like 10 and 12s right over the middle,
decision-making and patience.
Yes, it was.
And like those are two things you didn't always associate with Matthew Stafford, and now you have to attach it to him in the biggest game he ever played.
No doubt. No doubt. And I think he did that throughout the playoffs. You just talk about the pressure situations, whether it's the Bucks. He played awesome the whole game. The team kind of failed him down the stretch and let the Bucks back in it. And then they were like, hey, Stafford, you got to bail us out.
But he was awesome from the first drive.
He was from the drive. He was awesome that whole game.
Yeah.
He never let up.
Right.
49ers game, he was also good in that game. He wasn't great, but again, huge clutch drive. I mean, they were down by what, 10? In the fourth quarter against the 49ers in the NFC Championship game and won. And then, of course, down like you're talking about in the Super Bowl to the Bengals and come back and win with injuries. No Odell, tight ends out. I think offensive lineman got hurt. So they had their issues there. And to your point, and this is the last thing I want to say as far as about unlike Russell, he's incredible in the middle of the field with some of the throws.
Yeah.
And his ability not only to just move in the pocket and do that, but to put the ball in some unbelievable tight windows, to your point again. I mean, hey, go back and watch the Super Bowl. It says, I mean, how many throws did he jam in between a receiver and or a linebacker and a safety to Cooper Kupp over the middle or whatever? And then what you realize when you watch it too is he is a master at looking people off.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at you, short receiver, and as he's looking at them and winding up, he's throwing to a guy that's behind him by 10 or 15 yards and hits it in stride.
Right.
He really probably throws more no-look passes than anybody in the sport.
The one of the Super Bowl on the game-winning drive.
Exactly right. He had that one right there. He's looking at, there's an over-under concept where there's a guy like running a 5-yard option route underneath, and he's got Cooper Kupp running the 12 to 15-yard cut in behind it, and he gets the safety, Von Bell, to take the cheese because he stares down that shorter guy so much and starts his windup still staring at him and throws the no look. And again, that's special. It doesn't go in the stat book, and we don't know it, but those are the little things that to me differentiate the top 10 and stuff at that time. At times,
he had a really savvy version of that too. Again, I come back to that touchdown to OBJ early in the Super Bowl. He glanced at the safety just long enough from the moment he had the ball before he knew he was going to OBJ the whole time.
Yes.
But he had that half a second where
just
he looked there.
Just to keep him there for a second.
Just to keep it.
Yes, he's great
just
at
to
that.
open him up a little bit more.
No doubt.
I also want to point out he was number 1 against the blitz last year. You mentioned his toughness. I think Pete showed the stat that he had no interceptions in the fourth quarter. He's also number 1 against the blitz. So it's one thing to picture him being tough in the pocket. Yeah, he was. The mental toughness, no picks in the fourth quarter, #1 against the blitz. I mean, you can't make that up.
I know, and that's why I made that little statement about his mental and physical toughness. It's a real thing, and it was definitely part of the reason where I just went, well, yeah, I'm to me, it's one of those things that separated him from Brady.
Yeah,
in that department right there, for sure. I mean, it's real. And hey, you see there again the support system. Yes, it helps with the stats, and then you get a coach who, McVay, the good offensive coordinators in football. The really good ones, they never let teams win on the blitz. They're awesome. That's why they're great. Oh, you're gonna do this to us. We're gonna blitz you back. We got it. Yeah. Thank you. Right. So he was with an offensive coordinator who has all these answers and tricks and things to screw over a defense when they want to be over aggressive. So there you go. I mean, 13 touchdowns, 1 interception against the blitz, 8.9 yards per pass attempt. I mean, those are big numbers. And then, of course, a passer rating. 8.9 yards per pass attempt on these. Yeah.
Really good.
I mean, so it's not dink and dunk and screen to the receiver and all that crap either. Matthew Stafford, good for him. Glad he's #6. Glad he won a Super Bowl. And glad he silenced some of the haters of the world that were on his case for a long time.
One last thing. They always give a tough schedule to Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
Take a peek at his at the Rams schedule coming up here.
Yeah.
Is there a way for him to move up? Or even higher than 6?
I don't think. Yes, he can move up. He's still got too much big time talent for me to just go, no, this is about where it is. Now listen, the guys he's got in front of him are the real deal.
Yeah.
But he can move up a little bit. There's no doubt. Again, I think he has a year where he makes all these plays like he did last year and then cleans up some of the mistakes.
Yeah.
Shit, I mean, it'd be hard not to move him up. But there's, if you're listening, hey, the Bills game, we will be there. That's the kickoff game this year. That is going to be awesome back in L.A. But then they got Falcons at home. They got at the Cardinals, at the 49ers, Cowboys, and Panthers. I know. It's tough. It's not the toughest I've seen. It's not killer, but hey, their division at Cardinals, at 49ers, those are going to be big matchups. And hey, the Cowboys and Panthers, the Cowboys are good. We know that, and the Panthers have got some talent. But the Rams, the Bucks, the 49ers, I just would be shocked if they're not. Their teams are too well orchestrated. They're too complete. The only thing I'll say about the Rams that, I say every year is just they're top heavy. If, few injuries can really affect them, I think, more than it can affect maybe the 49ers or Bucks or some of the other top teams in football because we know, f them picks and the Rams getting all the big-time trades and everything else like that.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.